You were not born to be passive. You were not designed to drift, to wait, to wish. Every breath you take is a sing-alone, more second to rise, or one more second wasted. You are not here to watch others write history. You are here to carve your name into the stone of time with fire in your eyes and certainty in your chest, because comfort was never the goal. Impact is. The world doesn't reward the distracted. It doesn't favor the uncertain. It bows only to those who walk with purpose. Your life will bend to your will, or it will crush you under the weight of indecision. The moment you stop waiting for permission, the world starts moving. The moment you stop looking side to side, you start building forward. Focus is your sword. Discipline is your shield. Mindset is your battlefield. Win there, or you win nowhere. No one will save you. Not your friends, not your family, not a government, not luck. It's you, all you. And the sooner you accept that, the freer you become. Responsibility is not a burden. It's your liberation. The second you take control of everything you can, you awaken the dormant force inside you. The same force that built nations, crossed oceans, broke sound barriers, reached the moon. You don't need a map. You need a decision. You don't need more time. You need intensity. Most people live in delay, waiting for the perfect mood, the perfect moment, the perfect sign. But the mind, left unmanaged, becomes a prison. It keeps you overthinking, over-planning, over-waiting, when in reality, success is not complicated. It's raw, it's fast. It's violent in its precision. Clarity, execution, repetition. That's it. That's the formula the winners live by. Stop negotiating with weakness. Stop giving fear a vote. There is no dialogue to be had with doubt. There is only direction. Move. Now. Not after coffee. Not next Monday. Not when you feel inspired. Now. Because when the storm hits, and it will, it's not your excuses that hold you up. It's your standards. And you either set them high or you sink low. You are either disciplined by your own design or destroyed by the chaos you refuse to prepare for. And you know this. Deep down, you felt it. That burning, that urgency, that inner fire that refuses to die no matter how much you've ignored it. That's not some fantasy. That's your calling. It's not asking you to be comfortable. It's demanding that you become undeniable. You don't need to be perfect. You need to be relentless. Get up bloody. Get up tired. Get up uncertain. But get up every single time, because mindset is not just how you think. It's how you attack. It's how you show up when it's raining, when it's late, when it's hard. It's how you stare down the voice in your head that says, "Not today," and reply, "You don't run me." That voice, it's weak, it's afraid, and it has no place in the future you're building. Your belief is your weapon. When it's sharp, nothing penetrates. Not criticism, not rejection, not failure. Belief bends reality. It breaks barriers. It takes the impossible and makes it an inconvenience. But belief doesn't come from words. It comes from wins, from daily proof, from small promises kept until they become a wall of certainty you can lean on when everything shakes. You don't get that belief from watching others. You earn it in the dark, alone, when no one is watching. No applause, no validation, just you and the decision to keep going. Again and again and again. That is how giants are made. That is how vision becomes real. Not in the light, but in the silence. Not in the comfort, but in the chaos. Stop seeking balance if you haven't earned it. Stop chasing freedom if you haven't mastered structure. You want to fly? First, you need roots, deep roots, in values, in clarity, in routine. Discipline is not restriction, it's the path to power. It's not the enemy of freedom, it's the doorway to it. Without rules, you fall apart. With them, you rise on command. When the mission is clear, distractions lose their pull. When your purpose is loud, temptation becomes background noise. And if you don't have that yet, get still. Listen. Strip away the noise, the opinions, the expectations. What do you want so deeply it scares you to say it out loud? Say it anyway. Own it. Tattoo it to your soul. Because without vision, you're just wandering. And wandering is the enemy of greatness. Your life does not change when you get more. It changes when you become more. When your vision becomes sharper than your fear. When your identity is built around purpose, not popularity. When you stop needing people to understand you. Because vision doesn't need agreement. It needs commitment. You will be misunderstood. You will be mocked. You will be alone. And that is the price of leadership. No one ever did something world-changing while seeking comfort. You are not here to be liked. You are here to lead. That means saying no more than you say yes. That means silence when others shout. That means hunger when others settle. You don't have to scream your goals, live them. Walk like the future is already written and you are just catching up. Because when your life is aligned with purpose, everything else becomes background static. But don't expect it to be easy. Expect it to be worth it. The path of clarity, the path of resilience, the path of power, it's sharp, it cuts, but it forges. This is not about motivation. This is about metamorphosis. You came to this world raw. You leave it either refined or forgotten. The difference? Choice. Not luck, not timing, choice. So choose now. Choose focus over noise. Choose action over comfort. Choose growth over ego. Choose to become the type of person you'd follow into battle every day as a test. Every moment is a vote for the life you're building or the one you're abandoning. You either build your life by design or default. But understand this, you are always building something. You can lie to others. You can fake the smile, nod at the meeting, scroll through success like it's contagious. But you cannot lie to the mirror. The mirror sees the truth. It reflects not your face, but your habits, your fears, your neglect. Every morning, it asks one question. Are you becoming the version of yourself you once dreamed of, or are you just getting better at hiding from it? You want power? Show me your routine, not your ambition, not your talent. Those are cheap. Everyone has them. What separates the lion from the sheep isn't desire, it's direction. It's what you do when nobody's cheering. It's the discipline to do it again after you've failed, after the buzz is gone, after the world forgets your name. Will you still move? You say you want greatness. Then stop negotiating with average. Greatness doesn't come from tips and tricks. It comes from war, inner war, the kind where every lazy thought gets executed, where every excuse gets interrogated, where you no longer care how you feel, only what you've decided. This is the truth most avoid. Your feelings are not the compass. Your values are. Your vision is. If you're led by how you feel, you'll never finish what matters. You'll start things, chase things, talk about things, but you won't finish. You'll coast in a fog of half-built dreams and missed moments, wondering why nothing changed. But when you shift, when you anchor yourself in something unshakable, everything changes. Your clarity becomes armor. Your focus becomes lethal. You stop getting distracted by what's trending, what's popular, what's easy. You start walking with eyes locked on legacy, not likes. Ask yourself this: what are you building that outlives you? What systems, what principles, what truth are you embodying that your children, your peers, your future self can stand on like a foundation? Because there is no peace without purpose, no strength without structure, no excellence without effort, and most of all, no future without action. Real action, the kind that leaves scars, the kind that doesn't look good on Instagram, the kind that costs time, energy, attention, but gives back a version of you that is undeniable. The gap between who you are and who you could be isn't time. It's truth. The truth about what you're avoiding, the truth about what you're tolerating, the truth about the standards you claim to live by but don't enforce. And every time you let that slide, your confidence dies a little. Every time you betray your potential, you weaken your will, until one day the spark is gone and you're just like everyone else, numb, distracted, drifting. But not you. Not if you're still breathing. Because if you're still breathing, you still have a choice. And with one decision, you can rebuild the fire. It starts with a standard, one you refuse to break. Maybe it's the way you wake up, the way you train, the way you speak, the way you keep promises, even small ones. Because in a world full of noise, Consistency becomes a revolution. Forget the outcome. Fall in love with the ritual. Show up for the process and let the result become inevitable. Don't chase the trophy. Chase the identity. Become the kind of person who does the thing no matter how hard it gets. Then do it again and again until there is no doubt who you are, until there is no gap between what you say and what you show. Because life doesn't owe you anything, but it will give you exactly what you prepared for, what you built the discipline to hold. Success doesn't come to the most talented. It comes to the most ready. So if you want more, be more. Sharper, quieter, stronger, hungrier, less noise, more execution, less waiting, more initiation. That's how change happens. It's not a lightning strike. It's a spark, over and over, struck against resistance until the fire comes. And once it comes, protect it, because this world will try to dim you through doubt, through delay, through distraction disguised as entertainment, through comfort sold as freedom. But you are not born to live on mute. You are a weapon, or you are a prisoner, and every choice you make writes that verdict. Stand for something, or fall for everything. That's not just a phrase, that's a reality check. Because if you don't have a code, you'll follow anyone with confidence, even if they're blind. So build your code with intent, with clarity, and etch it into every day with your actions. When your alarm rings, what do you answer to? When your back hurts, your mind resists, your progress stalls, what do? That's who you are. Not the vision board, not the speech, not the dream. The behavior, the daily, the mundane, the consistent. And here's the paradox. Freedom isn't found in escape. It's found in ownership. The more you own, the less you fear. Own your mindset, own your past, own your limits, own your edge. Most people hide from their flaws. They distract, they defend, they deny. But the elite, they expose them, they hunt them, they fix them. That's how they evolve while others stagnate. And it's not just about you. That's the bigger picture. When you rise, you create space for others to rise. You walk like a lighthouse, cutting through the fog for anyone trying to follow the same path. Your discipline becomes a blueprint. Your clarity becomes contagious. Your life becomes a statement not of what's possible, but of what's required. And that is where purpose lives. In the work, in the repetition, in the quiet refusal to settle, in the rage against mediocrity, not because you hate the world, but because you believe it can be better. But belief without action is fantasy. So you move, you lead, you build, you become, because one day you'll be gone. Your body, your name, your voice. But what you stood for, that echoes, that stays, that matters. The question is, what will that echo sound like? No path worth walking is smooth. You will be tested. You will fall. You will break. Not once, not twice, but constantly. Life is ruthless to the unprepared, and yet that's not a warning. That's the gift. Because pressure is how diamonds are born, fire is how steel is forged. You're not here to be protected, you're here to be proven. Resilience is not toughness, it's transformation. It's falling and choosing to rise differently. Not pretending the pain didn't happen, but using it like fuel. Most people carry their past like chains. You use it as armor, not to hide behind, but to walk through fire with no fear of burning, because you've already burned, and you're still standing. Pain is not the enemy. Weakness is. Pain reveals. Weakness excuses. Pain shows you where the break is. Weakness lets it stay broken. And you get to choose every single time whether to run from the fire or walk through it stronger. Don't just survive your pain, lead through it. Because when life strips you down, it's not ending you, it's revealing you. Your values, your grit, your reason, and if you find gratitude there, in the middle of chaos, then nothing can shake you. Gratitude isn't just saying thank you. It's seeing clearly. It's knowing that every loss carried a lesson, that every moment you weren't chosen was a chance to build yourself, that every failure was a crack that let the light in. Most people are grateful when it's easy. You? Be grateful when it's hard. That's the edge. That's the shift from victim to visionary. Because you don't grow when it's convenient. You grow when it's brutal. You grow when it's ugly, when there's no crowd, no cheer, just grit, just sweat, just faith. And when things change, you adapt. That's your power. Flexibility is not weakness, it's mastery. The rigid break, the reactive crumble. But the adaptable, they adjust, they breathe, they move forward, not because the path is easy, but because the goal is unshakable. Change doesn't shake you, it sharpens you. Because you're not building for approval, you're building for impact. And impact is messy. It's full of pivots, full of failure. But if you stay still, waiting for certainty, you're already losing. Life doesn't hand out guarantees. It hands out windows. And you either leap through or watch them close. The only way to know is to go. So move, fast, decisively. And when you hit the wall, don't turn around, climb it, break it, build something on top of it. Because every wall is just a test of your will. And will is built, not born, built through action. Through hardship, through choice. Understand this. Nobody owes you understanding. Nobody owes you recognition. You do the work anyway. You show up anyway. Because when you rely on validation, you become a hostage. And you were born to lead, not beg. Leadership starts with self. The hardest person to lead is always you. To make yourself do what must be done when no one's watching, when no one's checking, when quitting would be easy. But the second you decide to rule your mind instead of being ruled by it, you shift from puppet to creator, from follower to force. And once you tap into that force, you realize it was never about luck. It was never about connections. It was never about the hand you were dealt. It was about how you played it, ruthlessly, intentionally, relentlessly. Not chasing opportunity, but becoming so sharp that opportunity chases you. You don't get that by waiting. You get that by being obsessed with learning. You devour knowledge. You study moves. You analyze failure. You eliminate excuses like poison. Because excuses keep you ordinary, and you were not born for ordinary. Learning isn't something you do, it's who you are. Humble, hungry, always listening, always evolving. Arrogance says, I know. Mastery says, I'm still learning. And that mindset of growth, of curiosity, of relentless refinement is how the elite stay elite while the loud fade into silence. You're not competing with others. You're competing with potential, with the version of you who never skipped, who never folded, who never made excuses. That version already exists in the future. And you chase them like your life depends on it. Because it does. The moment you settle, you shrink. The moment you compromise, you concede. There is no pause in life, only progress or decay. Every choice you make writes that story. And eventually your story writes you. So what will it say? Will it say you lived average, died forgotten, wasted potential? Or will it scream of fire, of clarity, of a person who refused to bend, who walked through storms, who created change, who left a mark? That's not up to chance. That's up to you. Right now, not next week, not when things slow down. Now, if you've come this far, then feel it deep in your bones. That pressure in your chest isn't fear, it's awakening. That tremble in your hands, that's potential breaking through excuses. The storm you've been running from is not behind you, it's within you. And now, you don't run from it. You ride it. Because now, you see it clearly. The greatest enemy is not the world. It's not time. It's not others. It's the version of you that keeps whispering, play it safe. Kill that voice. Smother it with action. Replace it with fire. Because the world doesn't bend for the hesitant. It doesn't kneel to the comfortable. It answers only to those who move with intent, speak with weight, and live like their days are numbered. Because they are. This is not rehearsal. This is your life. And every second that passes is a second that never returns. Every day you coast, every time you postpone, every dream you shelf because it's not the right time, you are burying your future alive. There is no later. There is only lost. So you rise. You rise not when it's easy, but when it's chaos. You rise when your hands are blistered, your soul is heavy, and the world expects you to break. You rise because that's what leaders do not by position, but by posture, not by power, but by purpose. You rise because you refuse to be a spectator to your own story. You rise because deep down you know no one is coming. And that's the greatest gift life could ever give you. Because now you become the hero. No cape, no spotlight, just scars, choices, and a vision so clear it drowns every doubt. You walk forward not with arrogance, but with authority. The authority that comes from keeping promises to yourself. The authority that comes from falling, bleeding, breaking, and choosing to build again. Because that's what strength really is, not muscle, not bravado, but resilience multiplied by vision. You don't need motivation. You need alignment. You need to live a life that matches your words, a life where your habits echo your mission, a life where you don't need to scream you're worth your presence says it for you. Because when you walk in alignment, the world adjusts around you. And don't ever confuse noise for movement. Just because they're talking doesn't mean they're building. Just because they're visible doesn't mean they're valuable. Visibility is a product of work, but work is not a product of visibility. You don't need to be seen. You need to be solid. Let your silence speak volumes. Let your execution scream. Let your consistency become a monument to what discipline creates. The world chases speed. You chase depth. They race to be noticed. You rise to be remembered. Because legacy isn't loud. It's lasting. And it's built in the dark. When no one is watching. When quitting is easiest. When everything in you says, not today, but your standard says otherwise. That's the line. That's where history is written, not with glory, not with spotlight, but with grit. So when it hurts, lean in. When it shakes, stand still. When it roars, roar louder, because life will try to break you. It will test your clarity. It will mock your belief. But your mission isn't to be unshaken. It's to move despite the shaking. It's to hold the vision even when your hands tremble. Because courage doesn't mean you don't feel fear. It means you refuse to obey it. Your future doesn't need perfect. It needs unyielding. It needs a version of you who walks with such precision, such principle, that nothing can knock you off course, not failure, not betrayal, not doubt. Because when you know who you are, no loss can unmake you. That is the root. That is the core. Identity. Not the one given to you, not the one shaped by opinion, the one you build, day by day, rep by rep, decision by decision, until there is no separation between the person you are and the person you promise to become. And once that happens, everything changes. You no longer chase. You draw in opportunities, people, outcomes. Not because you ask, but because your presence commands, because your habits don't waver, because your focus doesn't blink, because your life has become a reflection of excellence. And excellence isn't accidental, it's engineered. So engineer it in your words, in your relationships, in your morning routine, in the way you handle setbacks, in the way you handle success. Because the true test of power is not how you rise, but how you remain. Will you keep the fire when the applause fades? Will you keep the hunger when the goal is hit? Will you keep building even when you've built more than you imagined? If the answer is yes, then there's no limit. None. You don't need more inspiration, you need intention. You don't need more time. You need fewer lies. And you don't need permission. You need to start with what you have, from where you are, as who you are. You're not behind. You're becoming. You're not stuck. You're sculpting. You're not lost. You're in process. So stop waiting. Stop doubting. Stop searching for something outside to fix what only your inside can lead. And remember this, the future isn't coming. It's being built right now by hands like yours, by hearts like yours, by minds like yours. Your mind is either a weapon or a prison, and today you choose.